Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. My name is Reuben, joined here today with Aaron. Sorry, in my head it went Cam, Andres. I've been recording with a lot of people lately. And we are back to talk The Boys, Season 5, Episode 5, One-Shots.
That's kind of like... I don't know, it's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's... no, baby. Cam is... I was talking about the camera I just got. Oh, yeah.
One
Cam,
for Andres.
Oh, and Andres. I was talking about another man named Andres.
I'm glad that you were honest, and I feel like it's important to have that type of dialogue, you know?
Yeah, he's coming over tonight.
I hung out with Teddy without you the other day.
That's fucked up.
But he, brought his kids. You know? We're like, hey, anyone want to go grab some food, watch a game? It's like, yeah, I'm down. I just got to pick up my kids. No, it was actually Nash's birthday, but he wasn't there. It was the best Nash's birthday I ever had.
And before we get into today's review, I want to let you guys know that you can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts, and go ahead and check out our Patreon page if you want more Nerd Soup. And follow us on social medias at Nerd Soup, at Beau Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey. You know where to find us. No special prizes if you do follow us. Been doing a little scavenger hunt. Whoever can find Cam or Andres gets a prize. Giving out root beers.
Stewart's?
No, mug.
Ugh. Yuck.
Yeah, you go to the root beer brewery and you get a flight.
I'm a Barks guy.
Yeah, I don't even know what these... Are these real companies?
Yeah. Bro, still sipping on that A&W. Damn.
Yeah, The Boys. We haven't done The Boys yet, so I'm excited to hear what you've thought of Season 5 so far. It's weird because I've been liking these episodes, and then I go and check the ratings, and it's not that they're super low, but not as high as I expected. So I feel like with one-shots, I like the approach. The POVs, some were funny, others were a bit more sad. We're getting right into it. Spoilers. So the Firecracker story... it was really sad for that character. But then you get the deep in noir, and that was funny. Sister Sage, we finally learned her master plan. And then the POV with Soldier Boy and Homelander was also really funny for me. So I enjoyed this episode. Aaron, did you enjoy it? And, overall thoughts so far on Season 5?
I think it's the best episode of the season so far. At first,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When they did the Firecracker thing, I'm like, are we really going to do a fucking Firecracker flashback in this season finale? And I'm kind of upset because fuck Firecracker. She's the worst. And especially rewatching it up before, it's still fresh in my mind how big of a piece of shit she is. So I kind of would have rather seen someone like Starlight be the one to end her, but kind of seeing the world she created or the situation she created be ultimately what her demise is was great. And I guess you can feel a little bit of sympathy when she's forced to go on air and say that stuff about her old church and her pastor or whatever. But honestly, she's been doing that to other people since we've been introduced. So I feel nothing towards her. Seeing it all blow up in her face like that, I don't know if it was as satisfying as other evil characters' deaths have been before, because they did kind of show her in that sad state. But I don't know. I kind of wish it was somebody like Starlight to get revenge on all that shit she's done to her.
Yeah, she was the catalyst, I guess, for that in Season 4. No, Season 4 is such a blur for me because I just binged it all in a couple of days. Yeah, I think Valerie Curry as the character has been really fun throughout these past 2 seasons. A lot of the humanity, any of the sympathy you're going to feel for that character, I think comes from her performance, where you're seeing the final moments in the life of a person who was saved by the church, and then she completely turns her back on them. And the individual that she sells her soul to, crushes her skull on the side of an eagle's statue. So the metaphors in The Boys have never been very subtle, but you see it there. The symbol of freedom and liberty and everything that she's supposed to stand for or everything that she's really perverted is the thing that kills her. And also the individual, the false prophet, the false god. He does turn her back, or he does turn his back on her, and it seems like he was going to let her live. But it wasn't until she started begging for that sort of validation that Homelander decides to kill her. And people have been upset with Homelander not going scorched earth yet because it feels like they've been teasing it. But I feel like even a moment like that, Homelander has killed for no reason in the past, but usually he'll kill a bit more strategically. And that one just felt like, after everything that this woman has been doing for you, to discard her like that was pretty bleak, even for Homelander. She's just been such a delight, I feel like. Even though the character is very detestable, she's been great. The actress, not the character.
Yeah, so like it's a nice like wrap on that story, seeing like what she built is what brings her down. I kind of don't love the route of like trying to garner any sympathy for her. And
I don't think there was any sympathy.
Well, I think they tried to like have that moment where she's crying, but like in the back of my head, I'm just like, good. Like this is the bed you made.
Yeah.
And
take a nap.
A permanent nap.
Yeah, an uncomfortable one where you keep waking up to check the alarm. Make sure you're not oversleeping.
Yeah, you keep dreaming that you're late for school or you haven't been to class all semester.
Yeah.
And also with Sage, I feel like, and I think we talked about it in previous seasons, like the fundamental flaw with that character is that she's the smartest person in the world, but you're only as smart as your writing lets you be. I think with her endgame or her grand scheme is like causing chaos so she can just like chill out in peace and quiet is a little bit lame for that character.
It feels very much like 2012 Reddit. Somebody who's finally got some independence and they're just like, I hate everyone. God doesn't exist. I just want to be alone. It feels a bit childish for a character like that.
Right. Like you're the mastermind of all this and like that's your end goal. I just don't feel like they had anything really like next level for her. And they just settled on that.
Right, yeah, something clever, because you always felt like, when was she going to pull the chair out from Homelander? And that she was planning to do that, but when it's revealed her true motivations, that they would be not necessarily good, but something clever, something interesting and new for the story that, that we weren't expecting. And I think it's almost similar to what Stan Edgar said to Homelander. It's like anybody... you're supposed to be the smartest person in the world, but anybody could have thought of that type of ending. You just want to be, the Twilight Zone, the person alone with all their books, and then your glasses break. But I guess it was funny when Ashley realizes what she's gotten herself into. No matter what Ashley tries to do, every time she tries to do the right thing, she just ends up in more shit. Because it's like, okay, I'll work with you to undermine Homelander. And now it's like Sister Sage is even worse. But for a dumb reason.
Yeah, I just kind of was expecting a little more because you always got the sense that she knows what the situation is. The motivating factor for a lot of these characters when it comes to Homelander is fear, right? And even Soldier Boy, we kind of get a sense of some of that fear. He might not like him or like respect him, but I think he still does fear him in his own way. He never really lets it... Like, he always tries to play it cool, but I think in the back of his mind, he knows that Homelander would cook him. So I think for Sage, though, her only way to defeat Homelander is with her brain. And I kind of think that there could have been a clever way to reveal maybe that she's not secretly on the side of the boys and humanity, but maybe it's a selfish gain and just letting chaos ensue so you can have some peace and quiet is kind of whack.
Yeah, and it's a character that I really enjoyed. I thought she was by far the best part of season 4. And that even in this episode, I enjoyed her POV. I thought they were going to go more with the angle of, I'm just going to make Soldier Boy my new Homelander. Because it's very much her pushing him in the direction of betraying Homelander. That she, the first meeting they had, and now in the elevator. And it was interesting when she says... it's harder to figure him out. And I think that's been true for the audience as well, because even now with him siding with his son, it does feel true to his character that even though he is a scumbag, Homelander, I mean, they're both sort of scumbags, but he feels a sense of responsibility for him because he is his child. There is a code and an honor to that character that exists. And it's something I kept pushing on these reviews with Cam and Andres, and they both weren't biting. Now it looks like they are kind of doing the daddy-son team up.
Soldier Boy just cracks me up.
When they're talking about all the things that Homelander's doing when they get to abortion.
I mean, they want to ban fucking abortions.
Okay, well, banning abortion would be a big problem for me personally.
He's so fucking out of pocket, man. But even like his little reactions to Homelander are so funny. Like when he says, oh, you can't take a fucking joke. And then he looks at him again like, are you really going to push this that far. You know, you remember when Quagmire tells Brian all the reasons he doesn't like him? And then at the end, he's like,
I could forgive all of it, if you weren't such a bore.
I think that's the major difference between Homelander and Soldier Boy. They're both scumbags, but you can party with Soldier Boy. Whereas Homelander's just going to sit and pout in the corner like a fucking weirdo.
Like, it doesn't even compute in his brain that Homelander doesn't fuck. It just doesn't make sense to him.
He's my asexual weirdo.
He's like, it's like, what do you mean he doesn't have sex with you? Like, guys though? Like, no, not even guys. Oh, damn. What does he do? Like, what does he do? What is he doing all this for? Like, he just can't, it doesn't register to him.
What did the guy say? Mr. Marathon said that he spoke to a girl for 2 hours about Nietzsche and then left when she stepped on his cape. And he's another one, dude. I mean, just the looks of disgust that Anthony Starr is capable of will always crack me up. When he's talking to Mr. Marathon and he's inspecting his house and shit.
He's so fucking funny. I thought it would have been hilarious when they go to the basement and, like, for some reason, he's just a big McLovin fan.
That would actually... I thought that they were going to do maybe something with the celebrity cameos like that, where Homelander maybe was a fan of one of them, and we would see a different side to him, but no, he just totally dismisses them.
Imagine if Homelander just fucking thought McLovin was the funniest shit he's ever seen. Well, that was funny when Seth's dying. He's like, I'll always think of you when I watch American Pickle.
Underrated, man. I fucking loved American Pickle. When he's running for office and then they ask him about Jesus.
Jesus Christ's mother was prostitute, and she invents story of Christianity to cover up fact that she prostitute.
Yeah, but that was fun for my Diti Anna. She would have really appreciated that. The Supernatural reunion with Jared Padalecki and Misha Collins as Mal Chemical. It's a show that I never watched. I know it ran for about 37 seasons. But yeah, that was probably cool. Like I said, shout out to my Diti Anna. Loved Supernatural.
Where's he been? I feel like the boys could have used a guy like that.
Mal Chemical, right?
Yeah.
It's similar to what they do in Invincible. Sometimes you just have to suspend your disbelief. Yeah, no, they could have got him and maybe taken Homelander out in season 1. I think a more legitimate criticism is that the boys are way more incompetent. They've been very incompetent for 5 seasons.
Well, it's kind of like their thing, their incompetence. Yeah. And it gets a little annoying sometimes, especially Huey this season has been annoying. But I thought it was a nice moment, like him and Butcher kind of. And I feel like that's going to be like the last moment they really share together of any like relationship defining way, where like they kind of end on that like smile and they're kind of good. And Butcher relents a little bit and lets Huey try to make I guess a vaccine for the virus. You know, it's his way of showing him he appreciates him. And that's kind of how their relationship's always been, where deep down, you know, they care for each other, but they don't always see eye to eye. So I feel like that has the potential to be like a moment we look back on when either these characters die or the series ends. And like, that's the moment of like peace and mutual admiration they have for each other.
Yeah, definitely. It just makes me feel like something terrible is going to happen to Huey in this next episode. Because it's like they've finally come to an understanding about what their relationship is. Yeah.
And I just like the boys being the boys, you know. It was enjoyable to see MM and Butcher have those moments, especially after last week, which I don't know what the reaction to that was, but like when they had like the true serum gas. Yeah, I didn't like to see the boys fighting.
That was crazy, dude. We were talking about that on the last episode when Huey called MM a pussy. It felt like cursing out your dad. Like, whoa.
It's like, I hate your stupid fucking t-shirts. Whoa.
Oh, come on. Crossing a line here. Talk about my mother first. Yeah, that was cute. Getting the POV from Terror, who is a cute dog, and then dumbass Frenchie fucking almost kills him.
That Homelander scene is so fucking funny.
Yeah, that's out of control.
Like, you want to eat this turkey leg and then fuck me? I was legitimately dying laughing. It's the first time I think I really like genuinely like, because the show has always been fucking hilarious, and I realize the comedic moments at times, but I can't remember the last time I actually was like chuckling out loud.
Yeah, I feel like with Soldier Boy makes me laugh all the time, dude, because Soldier Boy says things that we used to say in high school. You know, asking Firecracker, "Did you nut?" He's so gross.
Usually you're nut. No, he made me laugh a couple times, and to the terror cutscenes where I was fucking dying.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what else. Yeah, that was pretty intense, the conversation between MM and Butcher. It was them reflecting really on how much they've given to this cause. And for MM, it's a bit more personal because of his connection with his father. Well, I guess for all of them, it's personal. They've all lost something, but him still having his family here and saying that it's better off if he's not with them because he doesn't feel like he's going to be able to take this all the way. And even for Butcher, I think that hit because it made him think about the humanity that he's lost since the death of Becca, being a man with nothing to lose and how much that takes out of you. And seeing that in a friend, I think it's way easier for him to feel sympathy for his friends than he's ever felt for himself. But that was good. Like you said, getting seeing the boys as the boys. It's been a long time since they've all been sort of on the same page and hinting at some of the things they're doing. Like you mentioned with the V1, whatever Butcher and Frenchie are building together. So I feel like the finale should be close to an hour and a half. Like I want a movie, a feature film finale.
Well,
because even though I did love this episode, 3 more episodes left. It does feel like, okay, it's time to ratchet things up here,
Yeah, and with Homelander, I wonder, like, what's going to be the breaking point? Unless it's already came, but, like, this whole idea of him being God.
Yeah, Prophet wasn't good enough for him.
He didn't like that one bit.
It's like the Trinity is all confusing.
But at a certain point, the public's going to have to turn on him for him to go scorch earth.
Right. Yeah, when does Homelander become... Because the thing that he doesn't want to lose is that even though he's really taking things pretty far right now, when it comes to being an authoritarian, he still has that base. And it's when he loses that base, he's going to become the man with nothing to lose at that point. That was funny, though, introducing the Homelander Bible.
Brand new American Testament, written by AI, trained on the works Pat Robertson.
Daveed Diggs, I felt like, was really funny in this episode. He's been good in the scenes so far.
Dominate the 7 mountains of society. Bring the kingdom of heaven to earth. Amen.
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 Like when he sits down for the podcast with the Deep and Noir, that was hysterical. When Noir's pitching him the idea of performing a miracle, that he begins talking and he's like, I could fly. And
that's
Daveed Diggs is like, this is genius.
Like his reaction to Noir talking is kind of what I feel like they were trying to go for with Kimiko.
Right.
That was generally funny, but like, I don't know, you guys probably talked about it, but the Kimiko stuff I felt like hasn't been great. Not the fact that
it's been awful.
Yeah, not the fact
Her
that she
and
could
Frenchie.
talk, but just like...
No, it's just the way they're writing her.
Yeah, and that's like something where I feel like, in the writer's room, it could have been funny, like the first time, but like they just kept going back to it, and it was like, all right, let her be a character. Because when she wasn't talking, it never seemed like she was that kind of person. And I get that's the joke, but sometimes the joke kind of runs its course. Like, give her a little bit more substance.
Yeah, no, 100%, dude. It would, if they used it more strategically, but it very much feels like The Naked Gun. How many ridiculous things can we get Kimiko to say in a matter of how many lines she's given each episode? It's just, they seem to be hinting at a breakup between Kimiko and Frenchie, which I would love because I feel like their relationship has become so obnoxious, especially this season. Well, I guess mainly this season. Yeah, I think Kimiko, it's a shame because Karen Fukuhara has obviously been playing this character for years, and eventually she does begin to speak in the comics, and very similarly, she's got a potty mouth, but it hasn't been very funny.
Yeah, and we've always disagreed on that. You've always been a big proponent of silencing women, whereas I've been at the forefront of giving them a voice, so you've always just been, keep it shut. And we've always disagreed about that, which is crazy. So I just never expected it from you.
Yeah, I've got my men's rights lives. Men's lives
you
matter.
listen to the fucking Deep and Noir podcast every week.
I've got them literally
taking notes.
I need to buy more storage for my iCloud, dude, because I have all the episodes downloaded.
That was...
The Deep in civilian clothing was so funny.
Well, just like, because... they did a good job of like hamming it up where that character is going to die and the Deep's going to kill him. And I was fucking dying laughing that whole time when they're talking about how he's going to be such a big star and this is his big break and I'm finally able to be the artist I can. They made it so obvious, but it works so fucking well.
Yeah, that was funny. Bringing back the director from The Dawn of the Seven when he's talking about the it grossed $1 billion. I thought that was funny too when Mr. Marathon was like, that movie grossed $35 million. And Homelander's like, yeah, on a $200 million budget. And then taking the shots at Sony. But yeah, that whole death and everything with Noir was pretty hysterical. And the two of them, the beef that they've been cooking up between those two characters has been funny. And seeing the Deep go undercover, following him to his acting class. He's I've made this point on a couple of reviews so far, but between him and Anthony Starr, I think they're the two best performances in the show. And the Deep is obviously, no pun intended, a very shallow character, but he's remained consistently funny.
That's
to the point
great.
where I'm excited every time he's on screen.
That was awesome.
Yeah, you like that?
When Soldier Boy goes, "Do you want knee pads?" He's like, "What?"
You're looking at me like you want to suck my hog.
Leave the little guy alone. Yeah, it's the first time they ever interacted, Soldier Boy and the Deep. And that's why the Soldier Boy, even though he is cooler, he really just is the original Homelander. Just
He always
such a bully.
I don't like hearing him when he's like, like when he's with Edgar and he's like, we had crime analytics. I'm like, you don't know what that is.
Or him dumping this is something he would know about, but pillow talk. But him dumping Firecracker because her pillow talk is getting stale. Talk about a character he's incredibly charming and likable, but man, there's not much going on underneath that skull. That was a great scene too. I mean, I absolutely lived for the Stan Edgar Homelander scenes in season 2, and I wish Stan Edgar was a character that they would have given a bigger role, because that dynamic is always so fascinating for me. Cecil, Omni-Man, Edgar, Homelander. The way that he compliments him and then immediately takes it back. Like, take a dig at Soldier Boy. Homelander showed way more promise. Not that it amounted to anything much. And then the dig about the daddy issues, that you don't want to kill either of us. That's what me and Soldier Boy have in common. And that's the one thing that made Homelander think, you know what? I should probably kill this guy. He's got a smart ass fucking mouth. But it's always going to be one of the most fascinating parts of Homelander's character is the people that he truly does respect and won't cross that line. Maybe when he has the V1, he can discard Stan Edgar, but the way that he's talked to him and the fact that Homelander hasn't killed him, it's super impressive on Edgar's part.
It is fun to see him interact with humans, and especially earlier on when he was kind of subservient to certain humans. I've always loved the way he interacts with Butcher.
Oh, did you like that scene when he was in the prison, the radiation cell?
Yeah, that was great. And I think
that felt like Batman Joker.
Like that final showdown, because it's going to happen, is just going to be amazing. I wonder when we're going to get Marie. And friends, I guess, but mostly Marie.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to keep Marie on the sidelines. I think that the initial plan was to integrate both shows, but you saw Gen V was canceled.
Yeah, but I feel like they teased Marie joining the boys at the end of Gen V, and then like with her power structure, that is something that would be something that could stop Homelander. I feel like with 3 episodes left, if she's going to be the one that has a huge part in bringing him down, I think it would have benefited people who haven't really watched Gen V if you brought her in earlier in the season, if that's what's going to happen.
Dude, Sanji and Fishman Island.
That's when like he's very annoying.
I just finished it, but holy fuck. Yeah, what I feel like they're going to do with Marie, because with only 3 episodes left, is I feel like she's going to play a part in the finale, but I don't think she's going to be the one who kills Homelander. I think it's going to be an idea maybe that they discuss, and that her role is going to be something different. That she will have a role in the story because of the way that she's been built up and teased, but I don't think it's going to. Maybe it's like she gets a shot at him. It's similar to, Doctor Strange taking on Thanos in Infinity War. It's, let's give all the really powerful characters a shot because it's something cool for the fans. And maybe it's not even enough. It's like when Homelander had that scene with Newman when he's like, go on, give it a try. Let's see let's see who's stronger. And Newman was like, never mind, sir. So I think that's how they'll end up using Marie, because we are coming up on, only 3 more episodes. If she's the one to kill him, I like Gen V and I really like Marie, so I wouldn't mind it, but it's still, you're playing with fire there because some people are just not going to know who that is.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's bound to be Butcher and Homelander at this point. But I don't know.
I thought that they were really going to separate Butcher from the boys this season after what he did in the finale of season 4, and that he was going to be just as crazy, and it becomes how do we take out Homelander and then Butcher?
But I think that's tired. Like,
yeah, no, it is.
Even Huey said, like, you might be worse than Homelander. Like, that's just not the case. And I'm sorry, killing Newman isn't that big of a deal to me. She was an awful person.
Yeah, no, people just are upset about that because she was hot.
Yeah, and like Huey, you're married to her in real life, so relax, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I think people were just vicariously living through Huey and Jack Wade, both on the show and off screen.
It's like the way this season, especially in the beginning, they like don't forget that Newman was a mass murderer too, right?
I know, yeah, they'll forget that easily.
It's like, oh no, we ate bagels together that one time. Shut up, Huey.
It was like it was more so not feeling bad that Newman was killed. I mean, Huey was friends with her, whatever, but it's like we could have used her. And I thought that was the point that they were trying to make there with Butcher, is that he's been able to hold back in the past. You know, he wanted to fucking kill Starlight in season 1. And even going into like 2 and 3, he was always like giving Starlight the side eye, like she's a fucking suit. So it was just like, oh, Butcher's just uncontrollable at this point. There's no rationale to this character and his decisions anymore. And now it's just like, no, there is. He's just kind of the same old Butcher. So I can understand where people are like, man, we're waiting for Homelander to go crazy. We're also waiting for Butcher to go crazy too, and it hasn't happened yet. So maybe something that we're not anticipating will be the catalyst. Maybe it involves Ryan.
Yeah, he kind of just fucked off, huh?
Just left. Went back to Russia. And I mean, the celebrity cameos, I wasn't distracted by them because I feel like The Boys has always been such a silly show. So
best day of my life was when they executed Hader. Right? More offer onlys for the Forte.
And Kumail Nanjiani, when Will Forte was going to fight him, and he's like, you can't fight me, I'm ripped now. He's always made me laugh. And I think that was, you know, you're anticipating Homelander is going to kill them, and the fact that it's just Soldier Boy using them, putting them in the way of Mr. Marathon was pretty funny.
I thought it was really funny when Craig Robinson goes out of the bathroom and just gets splattered immediately.
He was so excited to see him, too. I felt bad. He's like, as much as I want a younger Batman for Corin Sweat's Superman, I would love if Jensen Ackles got a crack at it, man. He's got an incredible voice.
When he stands next to Homelander, like he's taller, he's bigger, it's more commanding.
He mogs him a bit.
He might mog. That's what sets him off the edge.
Right.
He gets frame mogged by his dad.
He was during that fucking the medal ceremony. That's when Homelander drops the bomb. Like, oh yeah, by the way, he's my dad. It's like when Snoop Dogg's kid was playing football at USC. You're the only star athlete on campus who's not cooler than their dad. You show up to a frat party, everyone's like, yo, where's your pops? Where's the motherfucking D-O-double-G?
Yeah, I mean, not every son could be like Bronny.
Bronny's very much Mark Grayson. Like, yeah, Omni-Man's really cool. He's the GOAT, but I fuck with
LeBron's your dad? I didn't even know that because you made such a name for yourself on your own. The funniest clip, you ever see that when the guy calls into like the podcast or radio and he's like, you could switch lives with anybody? And he said Savannah James. He's like, yeah, but like I can call LeBron daddy. He's like, you don't need to be Savannah to that. You could be Bronny. It's like, yeah, but he says daddy weird, you know? I want to call him daddy like Savannah does.
Oh my God. Maybe Jordan fans are right about us.
No, I was just thinking too. I'm like, Homelander lucky LeBron ain't in this universe.
You're saying LeBron doesn't exist in the Boys universe because he would just be more powerful?
It'd be a glaring plot hole. Like Bron's just sitting back and letting this happen? Mm-mm.
No, yeah, Bron's not letting this happen. That's become like a recurring bit on this podcast, is whenever a show takes place in our world and something like we were talking about with The Last of Us, like they never got to see Bron. 2012, Remember the movie 2012, the disaster movie? It actually kills me that they didn't get to see him win a championship.
Damn.
The last thing they saw was the choke job against the Mavericks. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's like KD's throwing in the Homelander concentration camp because he's fucking talking shit on his burner.
Those sweaters have been so fucking funny, dude. Every time they get arrested, they put them in the Homelander sweater. What have you thought of Ashley and her backhead?
Kind of freaks me out. I always forget when it starts talking. I'm like, where'd that come from?
The way Sage was kept twisting Ashley's body to speak to the back of her head. She's like, you guys have been talking without me?
Yeah, I don't like it. It creeps me out, not gonna lie. I'd rather have Voldemort in the back of my head.
I can never remember the fucking professor's name. I just watched that movie. I always want to call him Quill, but I feel like it's not Quill. That's Peter Quill.
Yeah, it's Star-Lord.
Quivel? That might be it. Quirrell. Fucking J.K. Rowling and her dumbass names. Yeah, so episode 5, one-shots. I mean, yeah, I definitely, for me, the best episode of the season. So far, episode 1 has been rated highest, and I think that's because of the A-Train death, which was a great moment. But I think overall, I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and getting all the perspectives from the different characters that surround themselves, that Homelander surrounds himself, and kind of, I thought it was like a good insight into like just the environment they're in and what they have to maintain in order to survive. More so, we got into that with Firecracker, but yeah, it reminded me of like some of like the old boys, where I think the show has still like maintained most of its enjoyment for me, but this was like the first episode of the season where like I truly enjoyed to the level of like the previous seasons.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for our review of The Boys Season 5, Episode 5. We'll be back next week for Episode 6. Still don't have any titles for these episodes. It was just one-shots. So now we're working with TBA. Aaron, thanks for joining me. And guys out there and gals, thanks for listening. Thanks for commenting and also subscribing. And yeah, go Knicks.
Yeah, rappers.